Hello everybody, another Division 2 video here for you, and this one today is going to be a tank. So starting off with the specialisation tree, I'm going to go take a look at that now. We have the firewall specialisation. There's a couple of reasons for this. The armour kit is really good, the health on kill is also quite nice. Burn duration can be handy, I guess, with the flamethrower. That's kind of quite good in PvE. The shield is kind of what we're after here. That's a big thick part of it. 10% extra damage to allies, enemies that are with 10 meters of you. That's great. So it's all about getting close. I think that's disabled in PvP now. Yeah, the fire burn to targets, because I think that was just getting on people's nerves. 30% bonus armor during cover-to-cover moves. Okay, maybe not. The shotgun and the SMG is what I'm using, but I do have an assault rifle on another class, so that's why that's there. The grenades are multi-clustered, and they are quite cool. They're okay, yeah. So, also looking at the other pieces here, we've got the flamethrower. The flamethrower is okay, again, it's not bad. It does quite a lot of damage in PvE and PvP. I use it occasionally. The main thing with this build is just basically having a lot of armor, armor regen, and just being able to put out, reasonable damage in situations. But I'm going to show you how everything works. So we can see the ranges on heroic, and I'm just going to take a look at my build. So nothing to distract us there. So what am I using? Again, I've been over the specialization, the firewall with the grenades. I've got a Emmeline's Guard, which is max rolled on everything, which is really nice. The thing that I liked about this weapon is just the fact that if you get a headshot with it, you're getting 24% of your armor, which is a really big deal. So if you are using it, you can get some armor back. That's quite nice. If an enemy's weak, you can just sort of whip it out and get some armor back. I'm using the new Scorpio shotgun. It's really, really good for what it does. The status effects are just OP. There's no other way of saying it. It's tried it in PvP the other day, and it's just crazy. So the other thing I'm carrying is, just because I'm carrying a lot of shotguns, I'm actually carrying a backup boomstick that's max rolled. It's got damage to out of cover, damage to armor, and it's got in sync, so I can spam the shield. You can see that I'm using 3 pieces of Foundry and 2 pieces of Badger Tuff and 1 piece of Giller. So I'll go over the choices and sort of let you know what's what with it. So the first piece is my first piece of Foundry, and basically what this is just rolled into Armour Regeneration and then some incoming repairs. Moving on to the gloves, I've got the same again, Armour Regen, Armour, and this is basically the piece that gives me 10% extra armor, which is important because you don't get any other pieces that give you 10% armor. That's quite a crucial piece to this build. Again, the third piece unlocks 1% armor regen, which is really nice, and then 5% shield, 50% shield health, beg your pardon, which is really, really good for what we're doing. And I've just rolled again into armor and to armor regen. Now the pieces that I put around this, some can change, some can't. The ones that can't change is basically the chest piece. It needs to be a point man. I'd say the reason why you want to do that is A, it gives you total armor, which is what we're looking for. Again, if I could get it set up the way that I want it, I'd probably take something like a max roll of armor regen and then the third stat. It doesn't really matter so much. Maybe hazard protection or explosive resistance or any other skill. You could have anything there. It doesn't matter. A bit of skill haste if you have a skill that you use. It doesn't really matter. That's not the... But again, the chest piece, I don't really have the right pieces yet. So still looking for something a little better with that. But it gives me a little bit of crit chance and a little bit of hazard protection, and I'm stacking incoming repairs as well. So the holster is actually the named holster, and this was the best I could do for the moment. Again, if I could get an ideal one, I'd probably go for the same again, armor, ammo capacity, full roll of armor regen, and instead of the headshot, I would probably go for either hazard protection or if you know, at a push, maybe crit chance to get some crit. The backpack, again, this can be changed with talents wise anyway. What I would suggest is, because this build is for getting up close and getting close to enemies, I've gone for the 2-piece Badger Tuff. The reason why is because shotgun damage, which is for the Scorpio, and 5% extra armor, which in total with the Giller is another 10, so that's 20% total armor, and you can only get, I think it's 15 if you do it through, you know, the other gear pieces that aren't. So this is going to give you the most armor you can actually get in the game. 2.2 million. Again, health really isn't something that's used, but what I've done here is I've used Adrenaline Rush, so I'm gaining stacks of armor, up to 60% of my armor, and that's a big deal when you have a lot of armor. And I'm using the chest piece that has sharing my armor, because obviously 2.2 million is a lot to share. But it's not really just that, it's actually also the invulnerable shield for 5 seconds, which is going to let you run up to an enemy and sort of get those shots off with the shotgun. So I've also repaired a healer drone, but you can choose any other method that you like to either heal you or block bullets or whatever you want. The left skill or whatever other skill is up to you. The one that's not negotiable is the actual shield, and it's the striker shield that we're looking for, the actual firewall striker shield, which has got a little bit more health. It's just running basically shield mods and extra health, but what that's going to do for us, it's just going to give us a strong shield. It's got a shield that's like nearly, I'd say 5.5 million there, so you know, it's a fair amount in the shield. It's going to let you put out some damage and hopefully proc a status effect sooner or later. So what we're going to do is just nip down to the range. I'm also going to show you my stat sheet dead quickly, just so you can see. So 42% crit chance and 60% crit damage on the SMG, which is not too bad considering that I'm a tank. A little bit of headshot damage, which is nice obviously because of the talent, but most of my stats here won't really matter. The Scorpio has 26% and 52%. Headshot damage, yeah, a little bit, that's not really going to help there. Where it really matters, where this build matters, is it's got 45,000 armor regen. It's not quite as much as some of the meta builds that have like 80 or nearly 90,000 armor regen, but when you sat behind that shield, it's going to do you good enough. I've got nearly 2.2 million armor, so that's my armor numbers there, 2.184, so 2.2 it's showing on the side screen. And just incoming repairs basically, so my skills are going to heal me a little better. I've got nearly 20% into hazard protection, some off the watch, some just off the chest piece. But this build really isn't made for anything other than just sort of getting close to targets. The more the better. I'm just going to run over and sort of, you know, get a few targets. You can see that it does give you quite a lot of over armor, plus your 1% healing, and you have a drone as well, which is going to heal you. I have the drone because, you know, you don't really have to do anything. It's just going to sit there and do whatever it needs to for you. But where it gets interesting is that I'm actually on heroic right now. So let's bring a tank over here. Let's get a much tankier target. You can see the extra layers of armor that I'm getting as well, which is 60% of my armor, which is quite a big deal, you know, at 2.1 million, 2.2 million, it's big armor. So obviously you can get damage that way through shooting with your shotgun. You're going to pull up your shield, give your teammates extra armor, and mark a target up for extra damage. Now, the ways that I was talking about that you could modify this build to be slightly different is on the backpack you could use opportunistic, which would give your team 30% extra damage once hitting them with the shotgun, rather than 20. There is a number of ways you could do it, but I wouldn't change the invulnerable shield because this is going to allow you to get the shots off and get you to do your damage. Now, when a target's weakened, say if you run out of bullets and you can see a target's quite close to death, you can switch to your SMG, and like I said, I'll show you, it's quite a big portion of your health back. So I'm just going to go all the way down to health. Bear in mind, I've got a little bit of armor regen. You can see how that's trickling up now. If I get a headshot on top of that with what's going on with just my, you can see that, look, 24% of my armor is going to go up. You know, and that's a fair amount of armour to give you back on top of what you're already healing. So your SMG effectively is just for switching to get rid of either little red targets or weakened targets, so you can get that armour regeneration bonus. You have a drone to heal you, and you also have a little bit of armour regen on the pieces that you can. Hopefully this is really helpful, because this does help you tank some harder content, and I tend to pull this out when I'm getting annoyed with people in the DZ, because the invulnerable shield and this shotgun and the amount of armour that I'm running, it is difficult for somebody to kill me. It makes it very, very difficult for somebody to put you down. You are a little immune to status effects, but I'm going to be bringing builds out that sort of deal with that a little bit more later. And hopefully you've enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.